Alright, Mekone turned 21. We had a throne claim by Arcocephali, Alexander the Great. Very nice. They're kind of the Greek-themed nation. So that's nice that they got a throne. It'd be nice if we could get a throne in our cap circle, but we have other problems. So yeah, we have some battles. This was an unfortunate bump. So I know I called Kalos a vulture in the last video, but remembering back, I had actually invited him in, so that's definitely unfair to that player, because I was concerned that Hinnom would be able to recruit out of that palisade, and there was just no way I was going to be able to get something on top of it. So I'd actually communicated with him and been like, hey, you should grab that, because I was not going to be able to. I was concerned, he sent that giant stack of sacreds, so I was a little concerned that he would just keep on rolling. And this is more or less the same stack. I don't know if he's split anything off. It's definitely going to be able to wipe out our token PD here. And I was pretty concerned that he was looking to just keep on rolling, which is honestly not a bad plan, because let's talk about this battle here. So we went in to Hinnom. So there's not a whole lot to this battle. We have absolutely no mage support whatsoever, which is not good normally, but for, the early game, that's fine. That's not unusual. And, these guys are good. So, they're boxed up rather than in a line, which can be problematic for projectile fire or, evocations, but we're not expecting too much, in the way of research, in the way of mage power yet. And, you need to get through this gap. So, a long line of troops tends to just stack up on the walls, and yeah, it can be awkward. So these guys, I believe, should be, most of them, set to attack rear. These guys might be set to attack closest, so they'll go up onto the walls to go after these archers, who are actually pretty dangerous. Hinnom's archers, the giant archers, they have good protection. Their skills are not very good. That's interesting. I actually thought their skills were a little better. But anyway, good protection. This great bow does a ton of damage. Yeah, these wall archers, kind of scarier than normal. What does he got inside? So he does have some casters inside. No real troops, which is problematic. You usually want something. I mean, he has a little something, a few ogres, which, he's been able to summon. But yeah, you need something to keep the enemy off your mages while they try to do their thing. And this is kind of what I was worried about, and I'm a little surprised that he didn't choose, rather than sending that force at my capital, if he doubled back and then sallied out with these mages. This could be scary. These guys are good mages. They get this linked random. This guy's got some gems, right? So yeah, so it looks like fire or earth or air, I believe, are the only. Yeah, so here's another air guy. Oh no, here's an astral. Yeah, really cool mages. So anyway, they're always two path, in some path. I don't think they can get everything, but quite a few different paths that you can get. So yeah, these are good mages. They're loaded up with gems. This is scary. This is not what you want to see. I'd say our only saving grace is, again, there's not a whole lot of cover, so hopefully we can get back there before they do whatever they're planning on doing. Yeah, so we go through the gap quick as possible. There's not a lot of ogres here to stop us, and ogres are not great, and our guys are pretty good. So it looks like he's focusing on elemental spam, lesser elementals. Totally valid early game strategy. This is Conjuration 3, so it's not too difficult to get to. And provides a lot of combat power for your mages. It's one of the best ways to turn gems into early combat power. So yeah, our guys are getting set on fire. The earth elementals, the lesser ones, they're too small to be able to trample us, because all the elementals, the lesser ones, come in at size 3. So our guys are size 4. So this one fist, the earth elementals are kind of meh, but it's what he can do. So, and it's tying up our guys. So, it's harder for them to get through. You can see the attack rear, though. There's, not quite enough spam, although another fire elemental popped out. Fire elementals are pretty dangerous. We're somewhat protected, with our this is, again, where the more heavily armored versions would do better. Because, fire, I believe, fire damage, most of it is armor piercing. So protection matters less, but it does still matter. And then, of course, yeah, lightning bolts and stuff, so he does have some evocation research. The lesser air elementals can be a problem. It looks like we handled them without too much trouble. We have magic weapons, which helps a lot because they're ethereal, so they're tough to deal with normal weapons. But our guys can get shocked, just like anybody else. They don't have any shock resistance or anything like that. I don't think he had as many air randoms. So yeah, now we're back here among the mages, and they're in trouble. They're gonna die now. And then it looks like we chose to send our Peltasts up onto the walls, and for whatever reason they've all decided that this side is the way to go, and we're just gonna let those guys hang out. But yeah, this is pretty much over. Yeah, these guys are running, and so yeah, that wasn't too bad. Could have been a lot worse. I think, I don't know. It's hard to say. Certainly Hinnom's position was going to be poor, even if he managed to hold me off, right? So it may have been a decision that he's like, let's just go for his capital, and if I'm out of this game, that's okay. So yeah, let's take a look here. So yeah, we lost 9 of our Gigante hoplites, which is rough. Right, at most we can recruit, I think, 5 a turn in our capital, and then 2 a turn from other forts, which we don't have. Well, I guess now we have this fort. So we can get 7 a turn right now, maximum, assuming we have the money and the resources. Not safe assumptions. So this hurts. And then Peltasts. We need to talk about Peltasts, and then that's pretty much it for Hinnom. I think they still have a few other provinces, so they're not eliminated, but we don't have to worry anymore. But anyway, to return to the situation with Kailasa, this is a strong enough force. This could maybe beat. What do we have left? We have 80 guys roughly. A lot of which are Peltasts. We're not going to do so hot against those Sacreds, right? So we've got less than 20 Gigantes here, which are, up against like 60 of the Sacreds. And then those Sacreds have really low protection, so the Javelins and stuff actually will do, a decent amount. But hitting at this moment, right, where I've just captured Hinnom's capital is a good time to attack, right? Because I am at my weakest. Obviously, Hinnom has nothing left. This would be an easy capital to pick up. So I was actually already trying to work out a nap before this with Kailasa. But then, when I saw this, I was like, uh-oh. Maybe he changed his mind, but it was actually just a miscommunication. We talked it through, and he was interested in a nap. He had other problems. So, yeah, this ends up not being as scary as I thought it would be, but it's definitely something you have to consider that, it's like, okay, you just captured a capital, but if you're completely exhausted, someone else can come in and swoop that. And on the flip, if you have your scouts out and you're watching a war and, you see somebody exhaust themselves capturing a capital, that's a good time to go in. So yeah, we had a few other battles. So this is Ulm attacking us. You'll notice that it is not on our capital. So he sent everything, just sort of as a just massive raid, against Token PD. It's got, gonna roll over this. So yeah, I really don't understand this move. I can understand his trepidation possibly about, attacking the capital, certainly if he has some sort of idea about the PD investment, the level of PD investment that I have. But it's just, raiding a single province with such a huge army, I think is a mistake. Even if he feels that he's not strong enough to jump on my capital yet. So yeah, I think at this point I kind of give up trying to predict Ulm's movements because I've done a really poor job so far, and he's definitely outfoxed me at points. I lost that Polomark, and he was able to recombine his forces. I wasn't able to defeat him in detail. So yeah, but at the same time, my capital, I've been able to produce and everything, and now I'm not even threatened because this doesn't border the capital. So anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then we had some raids, or just one raid against Hinnom here. I believe this was our air mage, and yeah, Bone Tribe and everything, kind of our, hey, this I think is better. This is better, right? Lower commitment for raiding. So, right, rather than using an entire army, and there's nothing here. So I could have done an even lower commitment. Didn't know that, but anyway, yeah. So So that was a successful raid, and then we got some water gems, +8, nice, +4 death gems, good stuff. We definitely like to see that. And then a worldwide event. I'd never seen this event before, but apparently there's a legendary gate to hell that has been manifested, and if someone should open it, it would be woe to all. So hopefully that stays closed. Something to consider about events. Events can be changed by your game's settings. So there's two types of events. They have story events. I believe this is a story event. And they have stuff like this, where you're just getting water gems and whatever, like the smaller events, like those are always present in your game. Although there's like a higher frequency and lower frequency setting. So I would say that's something to consider. Definitely take a look at what your settings are. If you have a lower event frequency, then I'm guessing that like luck is not as powerful because you're just getting fewer events, and like misfortune is an easier scale to tank because you're getting fewer events. So, you have to worry less about those bad events. I don't know like how many fewer events there are. So I don't, it may not be worth it, right? It's like, well, screw it, still do luck or like whatever, right? Your build probably should dictate that more than the game settings, but something to consider. And you can turn off story events completely in the game settings, because the story events can, apparently, I don't have enough experience, but they can be a bit unbalancing, like give fairly significant advantages, to certain players. So some people don't like to play with them. Personally, like, I'm okay with it. I just, I don't have enough experience, and like, it's fun, you see different stuff. So anyway, a little discussion about story events and etc. I'm sure this will be fine, nothing bad will happen. And then we found a TNN scout, an elvish scout. Well, the scout was just an adventurer, but from the elves. We were expecting to fight against Ulm. So anyway, this is something to consider. TNN is obviously interested. They're our neighbor. We're having an interesting war against Ulm, so it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but something to consider. Anytime you find a scout, especially on top of your capital, it's like, okay, that player is interested, in what you're doing and what's going on. And then we actually eliminated all unrest in Mekone. We just, had to use all of our researchers and everything to accomplish this. But that's nice. And then Yomi was vanquished. I have no idea like how this happened. It might have been, I don't have any vision on it. Some of the discussion, I know Machaka was quite strong out of the gate. They had a very powerful expander chassis. And I believe Tianqi had a pretty good bless, which is cool. A lot of times I feel like Tianqi can be a bit of a rush target, and their early age Tianqi, from what I've seen, seems like a bit of a difficult nation to play. So anyway, kind of cool to at least hear about them doing well. I'm not sure who got Yomi. So anyway, so what are we doing? Not a ton. So we're doing a little bit of raiding. I discussed, like I said, with Kailasa here, and he was going to withdraw, and I was going to retake this. So I've sent in, just sort of, right, I'm expecting like token resistance. Still a little bit worried. I mean, okay, we agreed on, Discord, but diplomacy is non-binding. He does have a stack of, 60 or 90 if you believe the scout report, which you shouldn't. A substantial stack of sacreds here, which, could just jump right on this capital, like I discussed. So still not 100% sure, right, that he's going to abide by what we've discussed. So just sort of sending in a token force that should be able to handle minimal PD. If it dies, to his sacreds coming in, that's okay. I can, we can survive this. It would suck to lose this commander, but, I only have the two commanders here. The other guy, our prophet, is patrolling, again, just in case. We're going to get the advantage of like minimal PD investment. Maybe shouldn't have patrolled. I don't know. Hard to say. It's not like I can really send much else out here. Hopefully he doesn't know that. So yeah, anyway, we're patrolling and, may find out if we can deal with this stack of sacreds. And then also sending this scout down, to see, right, it's like if he does break his word and comes in, then, we're going to, this is our one scout that's over here. Hopefully he'll catch any reinforcements that are coming in. We can kind of get an idea of what is going to be coming our way. looking to raid, like the result of, Hinnom's forces. So, same squad that went in before. We're adding one Polemark to it to, try to bulk it out a little bit. Hinnom doesn't really have much left, so if he has any money or anything, like he could very well dump it, and as a PD dump, as a final middle finger to me, which I would appreciate and am expecting. So yeah, hopefully bulking it out with the Polemark will be enough to overcome PD, because these guys would never lose to PD. We have given him a fireplate, so his encumbrance is significantly lower, and he will hopefully not fall asleep. We will see. Bringing this Polemark back, moving patrolling, trying to bulk out, right? Again, like worried about Kailasa jumping on. Also, a little concerned that he won't be able to handle this province by himself, because, that's where he failed. And then... So all moved over here. So again, like they're not threatening our capital anymore, right? They can't, I'm pretty sure they can't get over here. Actually, I should be careful. A lot of their troops have forced survival, and especially since this is his province, he might actually be able to one-turn move onto my capital, which is not something I'd considered, actually, because I went back to researching. It's just every turn that you like 9 research, that's rough, right? 189, like that, yeah, okay. It's not amazing, but that's like some research where we'll actually get some stuff done. So, every turn that you're patrolling and not researching just puts you behind. So yeah, mostly returned to researching, sending a raider out to this, and again, these are just the militia we got for free. Slapped them onto an indie commander, threw an Etten in because why not? So again, like low commitment rating. If he comes back with this stack, which he might do, then we won't lose too much. Like I'm not gonna shed any tears over those militia. And yeah, that pretty much covers it at this point. Our army is still tied down a little bit. I'm also a little bit concerned that I don't know what his Ulm's scouting network is like, but he could conceivably go after Hinnom, which is kind of less well defended. It has less mage support. It doesn't have like a absolutely massive PD investment. And again, this just sort of highlights, it's like, okay, it's great that this is better PD and this is going to be really hard to break down, but it's like, if your opponent doesn't play ball and come attack and, hits you somewhere else, like, you can't. This is investment that doesn't move. So anyway, a little concern that, Ulm has decent scouting and, just marches his way over to Hinnom. Now, I should be able to, I'm not moving this turn. If I moved this turn, I could probably outrun him. But he might come. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said, I really don't know what he's doing. So yeah, I am definitely concerned that right now my forces are split between these two locations, and if he were to get himself in between them, that would actually be a good move. And pretty problematic for me because, assuming he could jump on a fort and break its walls in one turn, I just wouldn't be able to get reinforcements over to it. And I think definitely what I have in Hinnom would not be enough to stop this army. So yeah, it's kind of up in the air. We'll see. Trying to sneak some research in, and then we'll see where Ulm goes. I think, yeah, research-wise, nothing has really changed. So yeah, that covers turn 21. All right, Mekone, turn 22. So my fears about Kailasa and how worthy and honorable their word was, unfounded fears. So he actually sent some gold and recompense for taking that province, and did not attack. So that was big for me. I think if he had attacked, I think I would have been in big trouble. We completed some research and alteration. Looks like Niflheim is redeclaring a prophet. I think they're still in like a 2v1 versus Vanheim and Ubar. So no doubt there are many battles being fought. And then we took control of 2 provinces that had no PD in them. This is the one that Ulm had raided before. So the way we sent our militia against, and then this is the one that Kailasa had taken, and he very graciously left no PD. Really do appreciate that. And then we had a few battles. So this is Ulm continuing to raid in just overwhelming force. So yeah, he rolls over this. No losses. No surprises there. We were attacked by Hinnom. I don't really remember what happened here. He's got one scout. And yeah, like this happens a lot. It's like you can't pay for your upkeep. It's like, screw it. Attack with my scouts. So I appreciate this. This is a giant scout, so a little more dangerous than normal. But Wolf Tribe, pretty nasty. I think this is 6 PD, and yeah, it's good to have 6 PD a lot of times. I am a believer. And then we had a raid against Hinnom. Yeah, this is our farm province that borders our capital. This is with the Polomark and our Bone Tribe. So he did put some PD here. Oh no, he didn't. He just had some recruitment. So yeah, he's probably completely out of gold. You don't draw any income, even if you control provinces, if you have no fort that you can trace it to. If you have a fort that's under siege, you split the income of that province with the besieger. But of course, since he doesn't have his capital anymore, he has absolutely no forts, absolutely no way to draw income. So yeah, he's probably just completely out of gold and wasn't able to put any PD. So we take that, no problem. Worldwide event. I don't know if I missed. I feel like the Necromancer. I don't recall the message saying that he shows up, but this is definitely related to that Hellgate. So there's some discussion in general chat, and somebody definitely opened that Hellgate. So apparently this is what happens. I don't know exactly what the consequences are for this, but it doesn't sound good. We are the gods, so we'll see. The Necromancer is loose. The Hellgate is open. Which, sure, it's fine. And then we caught some scouts. So we caught a Marverni scout. This is in Hinnom. We had our patrollers there because we were worried about Kael'thasa possibly attacking. And it looks like, Marverni was interested in that battle. And then also a Xibalban scout, which is kind of interesting. This is on our capital, so he's probably just trying to keep an eye on stuff. We actually had a retreat. I forgot to change the scripting on the assassin that I used to ping that throne. So yeah, definitely. I don't think I noticed that. Definitely want to change that script. But luckily he didn't die in the retreat, so that's good. And then yeah, our patroller is a promotion, and none of that matters. So let's see, what are we doing here? We are moving our army back. Yes. So we're sending our hero Polomark back with the army. This is where Ulm raided, far away. Yeah, I really think, he had an opportunity actually to, sit his force, in between, to split my forces, which he just may not be aware of, right? It depends on his scouting. But now that he's moved up here kind of to the edges of I don't know, yeah, this is fine. Like, I wasn't really drawing any income. It's sad to lose the air gem, although I think he'd already cut it off. So oh no, okay, we were drawing it through here, so loss of an air gem, that's not good. It's not good to have an army rampaging around in your territory, but better that it just take, one province a turn rather than it, splits, fan out, and just take everything. Now, of course, there are dangers in fanning out, right? I do, have forces left, so, I could then take out a lot of his raiders piecemeal. Of course, a lot of his units are stealthy, and, those are very difficult raiders to catch. But anyway, he's choosing to keep his army together and just slowly conquer all of my lands. But of course, I'm kind of filling in behind him with my own raiders. So, this is our militia group. So they're headed on over to here. There isn't really a plan. Just go in there, hope that there's minimal PD. There's no PD here, so, could have just taken it with a scout. That so few scouts, they're more useful trying to give us information. So maybe a mistake leaving. So I just have this scout hanging out here. Maybe should have sat him on the capital. Was a little worried about him getting patrolled out. Also, highlands are usually pretty hard to move through, although Ulm, let's take a look. Pretenders of the World, they might have mountain survival or highland survival. I can't remember. Yes, they have mountain survival. I don't know if that lets them move through highlands more easily. I think it does. So he can probably just, normally highlands are kind of a one-turn move for a lot of nations. For Ulm, he might be able to jump, from his capital and kind of skip this scout. Now, because we recaptured this, we have vision on this province as well. So it's not as bad, but yeah, maybe a bit of a mistake in my scouting there. So anyway, yeah, moving this, trying to recapture this. Definitely, kind of want to. I mean, this is a valuable province anyway, but also want to show the flag to Niflheim, assuming they have these provinces. Definitely don't want him getting any ideas that like, hey, yeah, let's eat Mekone. So yeah, I think it's always a good idea to try to show your flag on your borders when you can, even when things are a little so-so, a little dicey, because it definitely, I think, can influence players' decision about whether or not, they should jump in and try to vulture. We're moving another raiding group out, similar, like just 30 peltasts, like regular commander. If this dies, like that's fine, whatever. Probably going to aim at this province because that'll be annoying, kind of preventing his reinforcements from coming in, and also it doesn't border his massive army. This is also an option because it doesn't border his massive army. So yeah, basically just trying to raid, where he's not. And hopefully, pick up the tempo so that I'm recapturing provinces faster than he's capturing them. And then, yeah, with our army headed back and then being able to combine with everything, we actually have a shot at defeating this. So, kind of just need to keep things in the air until our army can get back. Let's see, what are we doing? We are moving this whole squad towards Hinnom. Not sure what I'm thinking here. Maybe looking to do like a little bit of site searching. We still need to recapture this, we need to capture this from Hinnom. I don't know what I was thinking. So this squad that I sent in, to possibly die to that Kalosan, Doomstack of Sacreds, sending it against this province, I don't know what I was thinking here. This is not, like, I've already seen the PD investment. Like, I'm not sending a geared heroic Polemark, and I think that, 16, helots are going to be able to take it. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I can't explain this in retrospect, but I don't have high hopes for this attack. So we're probably going to need to, maybe that's just in case we don't take it, we're moving this over. Not really sure about, this situation. But yeah, I think that covers most things. We're not doing a lot of recruitment. Are finally getting a couple more scouts, and one armored Gigante. Most of our money is going into a temple here that our prophet is building here in Hinnom, because we're expecting maybe that Hinnom will be gone soon. So the deal with candles, Dominion strength, is as soon as a player is eliminated, all their Dominion candles just disappear on that turn. And so this will be completely like empty, Dominion. Possibly down here, I don't know, this could be Merverni's Dominion. You need a priest, I think, in the province, which of course is difficult if it's not your province. There are stealthy priests out there who are quite useful. But anyway, a priest will tell you whose dominion it is, right? So, like, yeah, we have a priest here. Yeah, right? So this province is under the influence of Tegu's dominion. Whereas, like, we don't have a priest here, right? So it's just like, it's an enemy, somebody. Anyway, once a player is eliminated, all their candles go away. So it's very important, assuming you want to spread your dominion, and we do, because we want our luck scales, we want luck events, we need money. We're very broke. Gems would be great. Anyway, we want luck, and the scales here are not actually like too bad. They're fine. So it's not like critical that we get bad scales out, but we do want our scales in. And the easiest and best time to push your scales, right, is right when that player is eliminated and all their candles are gone. If you don't push your scales, other people's scales will tend to filter in. So anyway, yeah, building a temple in anticipation of Hinnom being eliminated soon, but it does cut in, of course, to our recruitment of mages and other things. So we're not recruiting in Hinnom. You can see, like, yeah, it's not going so hot in terms of the income, even with this second capital, which does help a ton. Our income, I think, is maybe almost back to where it was, kind of before we started this 2v1 situation. And of course, now we're getting like a lot more gems. So, like, yeah, this is a huge boon. But yeah, anyway. And then let's see, research. Okay, so looking to finish out Alteration 4, which I've discussed, then going up to Conjuration 3. Again, in retrospect, I really think I do have problems with scattering my research too much. Like, all of these targets, like, none of the, arguably the evocation to less useful, but I do think that, like, higher level evocation will be very useful to get rid of this big old, Almost force, right? So that's none of this research, I would say, is wasted, but it is really scattered. I know generally, like, the big breakpoints in terms of, like, useful spells that you're getting, like level 3, you tend to see, like, kind of a power spike. Level 5 is a big one. Level 7 is, like, kind of the next one, and then of course level 9. And that's not like a hard rule, but people talk about, like, okay, what's your first 5 going to be? Like, what's your first 7 going to be? What's your first 9 going to be? And really kind of having a plan, and just not researching in a lot of other schools to really focus on, like, what is going to make your nation the strongest, the quickest, right? And by scattering my research, while yes, these are all useful spells, none of them are as strong as what I might get at, like, a 5, at an earlier 5 or 7. So anyway, Conjuration 3, right, it'll give us the baby elementals, which we saw Hinnom use unsuccessfully, but still they are pretty useful. It also, let's see here, gives a lot of the powers, right? So, like, Phoenix power, Earth power, both of which we really want. Which just boosts your mage's level in fire magic or earth magic for the battle. So I mean, yeah, a useful thing to aim at, but maybe in retrospect, like, should have focused. I honestly don't even know offhand. Maybe really probably should have focused on, like, maybe an Evo 5, right? Something like that. Like Earthquake would be really good against Ulm. Falling Fires, which we can cast, would be pretty good, against Ulm. So, maybe not splitting so much and really focusing on, like, okay, what is the problem? Like, yeah, okay, Conjuration 3 would be nice, but it's like, what do we need right now? Now, I mean, that said, we don't actually have a ton of Fire 3 mages. So casting, something like Falling Fires is a little difficult. So again, it's not that, like, Conjuration 3 is a bad choice. And, like, Earthquake would be a little tough for us to pull off. But, if we switched up our recruitment a little bit, we could get some Earth 3s with our Elder Cyclopses, so they're guaranteed to be Earth 2, and they have 25% chance to come in as an Earth 3, and then also we have the option for these Archons, who are always going to be Earth 1, but then they get this linked random, right? So there's a good 1 in 3 chance that they're going to be an Earth 3, and I believe Earthquake is only Earth 4, so with some gem usage, let's see, evocation, yeah, Earthquake's only Earth 4. Although, yeah, I think we could just barely pull it off, as you can always use the number of gems equal to your mage's paths. No, actually, so we would not be able to pull it off. Maybe with some earth boots. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Don't listen to me for research. I don't know what I'm doing. but we're going to Conjuration 3. Not a bad choice. Has its uses, but I think, a little more focused in the future. Definitely, like, you want to have a strong research plan, and I really don't for this game, and I think it's, showing itself in the split research, which I've talked about before in other playthroughs. So yeah, I think that more or less covers turn 22. All right, Mekone, turn 23. So a bit of a quieter turn. So we had a battle here in Kunaral against Hinnom's last stronghold, where we sent in minimal amounts of our Helit troops against, it looks like, about the same amount of PD that our Polemarch failed to. So let's see. Yeah, I've insulted these, bronze-wearing heavy infantry before, but, I mean, they're not the worst troops. You can see, like, protection 11, like, still pretty low, like, considering, it's heavy infantry, their encumbrance. Anyway, yeah, they're not great, but, we don't have a whole lot here, right? So, I mean, we get probably a few kills here, but yeah, it was not enough. Again, I don't know what I was thinking there. So, yeah, we lose that. I think the commander escapes. Yeah, so, but mostly lose, those helix. We can kill 5 heavy infantry who just regenerate anyway, so, oh boy, that was rough. But in the good news side of things, Ulm again left no PD, so our militia just march on and recapture that without trouble. We find more earth gems, so again this feels like luck continuing to kick in, and then Oceania was eliminated. No idea what happened there, but that's rough, that's tough, it happens. Let's see, do we have luck? Yep, full luck scales here. So definitely thinking that, getting more gems, certainly than, I've gotten in some other playthroughs where, I wasn't running luck scales. So yeah, what are we up to? Still kind of scoping out, Kalasa, he's got a fort up. Good for him. Infrastructure. Still haven't found his capital yet. He's still pretty active on our border here. I think he was looking at possibly nabbing Marverni, who obviously was quite weakened. However, kind of missed discussing this on previous turns, but look whose flag has shown up. He was already on our borders. But yeah, TNN is moved in and is, I don't know if you can call it vulturing, but basically, going after a weakened opponent. And, this is definitely something that I'm a little concerned about, because obviously I'm not, in the strongest position here right now. I'm engaged in a war with Ulm, so, I was concerned that Kalasa was going to jump in, have a nap with Kalem, so, I'll at least have a heads up in theory. And I don't think I have a nap with Niflheim yet either. But I, just from discussion with him, it does sound like he's busy, although maybe less busy now, because, he's controlling his border, right? And again, this is just sort of like, if I'd seen an Ubar flag here or a Vanheim flag here, then I'd be like, oh, maybe Niflheim is in trouble. But, seeing, his strong border here, it's like, oh, okay, maybe he's doing fine. So anyway, just, always something to think about, where your flag is. But yeah, this is a little concerning. I think I was talking a little bit with Kalasa, probably, encouraging them no, Marverni should be yours. Jump in there. And, because as far as I know, I think TNN is, unoccupied at the moment, other than probably trying to eat Marverni's capital, because Marverni has not been eliminated yet. But, they took out Baratos. I think we know that TNN's capital is here, so he is really close. Right? There's only 2 provinces between my capital and his capital, so that's pretty close quarters. He's going to be a part of our life in this game. There's just no way around it. And Kalasa, is significantly farther away. We still actually haven't found his capital. Now, of course, you might be interested in Hinnom eventually, but anyway, if these guys were to clash, I don't love having, just big old groups of sacreds hanging out on the border. I'm concerned that he's going to jump in and try and capture this, which would suck. And then, of course, TNN might jump in and try and capture this. This last province is just giving me a lot of trouble. Really my own fault. So what are we sending in? We are going to send in the Polemarch again, part 2. He's been given this fire plate, so his encumbrance is down. Also gives him some fire resistance, a little extra morale, which is also really nice, because morale is a bit of a problem with these guys. 17 is still not fantastic, but it's better. He's a hero now, so surely, we've given him some bodyguards even, just one random, heavily armored Gigante we managed to get a hold of, and, sure, one human hoplite. I'm not so sure about this, because now his bodyguards, I think, could HP route him, yeah, because this is 30, and this is 10, and, he's 35, so I don't know the exact breakpoint, but it's a little risky. So yeah, I'm not sure about these bodyguards, but I was thinking just buff them up a little bit. Not sure about the cast. That's probably research related. Yeah, so I don't actually have alteration for this turn, but I will get it, right? So research is one of the first things to happen in the turn. So I think my hope, right, is he will cast Temper Flesh. right? Which is, going to reduce the damage that he's going to be taking. And, one of the ways you can try this, right? So it's like I've given him some explicit spells, and then you can also just tell him, like, hey, just cast a spell, AI's choice for this round. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, he makes the right choice. He can't make skeletons, so that really bodes well. Yes. If the AI can make skeletons, well, don't ever bet against that. We're sending our scouts out that we recruited last turn. Just trying to get a little more vision, into Ulm's territory. Ulm, we lost contact, with his Doom stack. We have been chatting a bit with the Kalem player, who's obviously keeping an eye because the Doom stack, Ulm's Doom stack has been kind of, up, on his border. So he has a nap with Ulm, but, he's a little bit concerned. Really, there's only one place, well, assuming that he didn't attack Kalem, which, I know that he didn't from discussion with Kalem player, that through process of elimination, he must have moved here. Anyway, like I said, I've given up trying to understand his moves. Maybe he's going for Kalem. Anyway, what are we doing? That's something I can discuss with a little more confidence. So we're continuing to raid. This is our Peltas squad. They may go down to this army. 50-50 shot or less, who knows? He could go anywhere. We're going here. There's no particular reason that, we want to, this would actually probably be a better province to recapture because there's actually some, gems. But yeah, this just feels like a more likely move from him. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. So anyway, decided to raid here. And we're moving our militia back. They will probably also raid. And then let's see, who are we moving out here? Yeah, this also I'm not sure about. So this is one of our monsters, one of the better ones that we got from our pretender. So, there's nothing particularly special about, any of these stats. Really, the deal is this Gaze of Death. This is a pretty wide area of effect. It pretty much does as described. You do not want to get hit with this. It's a great way for friendly fire. These guys can be kind of tough to use. But, anything that has a Gaze of Death, you got to think about that. So anyway, a better result that we got from our pretender. Not sure where, I don't know what I'm thinking here. This group is just hanging out. This guy's doing a little forging, just more plates to help the polo marks. A little bit of preaching, never hurts. And then this guy's site searching. I think this group might be hanging out because I'm thinking fort construction, right? Of course, infrastructure, never on my mind. Yeah, it's turn 23. We got a fort. Look, 2 forts. So yeah, this is the lizard province. Let's see. So yeah, really do want these lizard shamans. I've talked about that before. So I'm guessing that this group is hanging out, to kind of start infrastructure construction. And then, hopefully, I think we have a nap with TNN, so, not too worried. But of course, Ulm isn't too far away from hitting this province. And, anytime you get a fort construction knockdown for Mekone, that's 750 gold. And we don't, our income again, could always be better. You could always have more gold. So yeah, research. We added alteration 5 on, continuing to be a bit scattered. This is actually, I think, a good choice. Maybe would have just ditched the conjuration research, or maybe ditched the evocation research completely and then just focused on 5, because 5 provides us with a number of things, but Maws of the Earth, which is actually a kind of an evocation-y sort of spell, right? So it does quite a bit of damage over a pretty good area of effect, range is okay, and then, it does some additional Earth grip after that. And we have plenty of Earth casters, so, this could totally be, sort of our evocation-style damage that's really going to mess up Ulm's, human HP troops. So I think this is probably a good call. Again, in the future, maybe would have just, cut the evocation research completely and, focused on alteration 5 and, just really focus in, because we were going to go up alteration anyway, for our polo marks. to level 4, so like we're already almost to level 5, so definitely something, to think about. Try to focus that research, and pick up what you can in as few schools as possible early on. And then later, when you have a ton of mages and everything's going great, and your research is fantastic, then you can pick up, like these level 2s and 3s like really quickly. So anyway, yeah, research. Always a problem for me. Research and infrastructure. So yeah, I think that covers, turn 23.